Zion's Custom Upholstery. We make it fun for buns. We're gonna take a look today at this armrest console for a Nissan Altima. Year makes between 2007 and 2012. This particular console was pretty standard. Console is pretty simple to get out of the vehicle. It's 3 mounting screws here on the back, and you can access those through the rear passenger or the rear portion of the vent system. You can pop off that vent back there and access these 3 mounting bolts, which will allow this whole piece or this whole unit to come off. And that's pretty simple to do. The fun part starts thereafter, and that is how do we get off the shale from the rest of this apparatus in order to reupholster it. And that's what we want to do. We want to reupholster this armrest console, but the shale has to be removed from the storage compartment here. And so let's just take a look. Let's dive right in, take a look and see how to get this apparatus off so that we can begin to reupholster the shale. First off, you'll notice that there are a couple of screws, Phillips head screws here on this bracket. You can notice those. See, let's get those out. Got one more here. It's a funny angle. And in doing automotive upholstery, you need a series of tools, different type of tools that allow you to access bolts and screws that are in all type of angles. So you want to build up your tools as you tackle on your different jobs so that you'll be able to get that job done efficiently as possible. So anyway, we got those screws loose there, and that's going to allow the storage lid to come off. And this felt lining here goes inside of the storage just to give a nice finished look and something soft to the touch when you put your little miscellaneous items in there as you drive. Okay, so now we got that off, but that still doesn't allow us to remove the shale. And this particular console has a shifting mechanism. I guess that would be for people with really long arms. Let's turn it over and take a look here. So you'll notice that there are a set of Phillips head screws here and there. And so let's get those out. You got a set here. And as you can see, as I took out those screws here, these Phillips heads, the shale began to separate from this massive base that it has. But that doesn't free up the shale. It doesn't free it up. There are, if you'll notice, and you probably can't see from the video, that there are another set of screws here approximately here in the back of the armrest console. And so now we got to figure out how can we get those out, because those have to come out in order to keep from breaking the shell and the housing for the shell. So, and you can't access them just simply by sliding the armrests up or back. They're further back here in the back. Really can't get to them from this angle. So we're gonna have to remove this cover here in order to access those two screws. So let's take a look. You get an old trim tool here. You can get round in this crease. And what you want to do, you want to work one side, the release clips on one side, turn it around, and release the clips on the opposite side. And you can see how that shell covering just separates as well. And so that comes off, and when it does, it reveals a series of different screws. And these T-nut or torque bit screws, they're holding this portion of the armrest console to the shell. But we're not interested in dismantling all that. We just want to get the shell loose, because we know that the shell is ready to come loose, because the 4 screws that we did get loose allowed us to have this play here, and indicative that the shell is ready to come off, but it's just being held by 2 more screws. But if you'll notice, here in here, there is a point of entry for 2 more screws, the other 2 screws that we couldn't access no other way. So that is the point of entry. You can get that covering off, you can access those shells, access the screws, and that will release the shell. So let's get those off so you can take a look at what I mean. And let's see here. Now you won't be able to see them from this angle, but they're down off in there. But anyhow, let's get those off, get these removed so we can take a look. And so if you're doing a do-it-yourself project with your armrest console for the Nissan Altima, for the years that carry this style of armrest console, as you can see, there is one of the screws that we couldn't get to, and the other one, you can hear it, there it is. And so if you're doing a do-it-yourself project for this style of armrest console, you want to get off the storage bin. You want to get off the shell for the sliding mechanism housing. You want to get that off, and once you do, you can access the other 2 screws that are only accessible through these 2 points of entry. And those would be the correlating screws. And as you can see, 2, 4, 6 screws took off the shell. And now we can take out these staples here and begin to make the new cover. or for those who may have ordered the cover off of Amazon or some other aftermarket supplier or what have you. Once you disassemble the armrest console, then you can apply that new covering. But here at Zion's Custom Upholstery, we are going to remove this cover and make a new one from the old pattern. Yeah, we are a real upholstery shop. So, one of the things you want to do to get out these staples, and as you can see, there are a series of staples going around to just lock down the material. You can get those out. You can get a staple puller, or you can get this awl that I'm using. I'm using the awl here, and they kind of just slip up under the staples a lot easier sometimes than a traditional staple puller, but whatever works for you. And so what you want to do, you just want to pop those staples up so that you can release the material. And I'm just kind of going around here, getting them all popped up, and then I'll come back and remove the staple totally from the shell. You can take some needle nose pliers or whatever little handy little pliers you might have to pull those staples out so that you can get the cover off. That's about half of them. We got a few more to go. You want to make sure you get all your staples out and so that you don't grab the shell and stick yourself like that one there is hiding. Make sure you get all those staples out. Okay, got a few more here. Let's pop those out. Some armrest consoles are put on from the manufacturer with staples or contact cement, and some of them are put on in a combination of staples and contact cement. This one here appears to just simply be staples alone, and when we come back reupholstering it, we may use staples only, or we may use the combination. Just all depends on what's going to give the best appearance. So we got one more here. So now all the staples are up, and that is your armrest console material. Like I said, if you order it from one of the online suppliers, they'll come in looking something like this, minus that. And this is your shell, and that is the padding or foam. So you can see that the bruising or the tearing away of the original material has began to, or has left an impression here on the foam, but it doesn't have an indention, so that's pretty good. If it did, then we would want to put some new foam over there, so on top of this foam, so that we could have a nice smooth surface for reupholstering. and reapplying the new cover. But this one just has the stains of oil and dirt and whatnot. But the new cover that we'll construct from this old one, we'll line it with a probably a 1/8 to a 1/4 inch sole foam, and that's going to add a layer of padding, and that right there would take care of any indentions or whatnot on the original foam. And not only is it going to add a layer of padding, but it's also going to, like I said, take care of any indentions that might be there. And it's also going to add strength to the new cover, so the new cover won't wear out as much. And again, add new padding. And so it's going to be a plusher feel once we add that 1/4 inch sole foam or that 1/8 inch sole foam. And it's going to add structure to the new cover or the new material, and in the end it's just going to last longer. And so what we're going to do, we're going to cut loose this seam here, and we're going to lay this out and make our new cover off of this old one. So Nissan Altima Armrest console, 2007 through 2012. Give us a call here if you need us, 205-519-0986, Zion's Custom Upholstery. We make it fun for buns.